Welcome, folks, to Nerdio Commentaries Kirby's Adventure playthrough. Chad's here with you.
This is Clay.
And we're going to take you through Kirby's second ever adventure. This is for the old NES system, and his first outing was actually on the Game Boy, which was called, I believe, Kirby's Dreamland.
Sounds right.
So here we have your basic button controls, A for jumping, B for your actions. Kirby can actually fly, too, if you hold up. And if you ever need a quick projectile, you can actually just inhale some air and spit that out. So what do you think of our hero Kirby?
Well, I mean, Kirby's always been a pretty cool guy, and in this one, I mean, definitely the addition of powers was just super cool.
Yeah, because in the original Game Boy version, all he could do there was inhale and spit characters out. But this one, if you inhale a certain type of character, like this guy here, you gain their powers.
And just as the games go on, it seems like they just keep adding more and more, which is always fun.
Yeah, in the N64 version, they added the ability to, combine two powers into one.
Oh, yeah.
I never actually played that, but you can get stuff like, what is it, I think beam and sword, and you get a lightsaber.
Yeah, kind of like a Darth Maul.
Yeah, it was a double-edged one, wasn't it?
And then I think if you mix the spark and the ice, you actually turned into a refrigerator and made food to heal yourself.
Yeah, I saw that. I was actually watching videos there of all the power-ups.
It's definitely an interesting idea.
Yeah. They don't seem to use that anymore, though. That was just for that one game, I think.
Yeah.
So here we have Kirby ready to head off on his adventure onto the Warp Star. Your basic backstory here is, as you can see, the people of Dreamland, one night they couldn't dream. And when Kirby goes to investigate, he goes to the Fountain of Dreams, where the Star Rod is supposed to be there to, power the dreams. However, the Star Rod is missing, and it turns out King DDD has taken it. And for whatever reason, he broke it into 7 pieces and scattered it across the land. So in order to save the world of Dreamland and get their dreams back, Kirby has to take up the adventure. On a bad little... What's that?
It stays pretty simple, but there are some nice twists and turns in there.
Yeah, at the very end you'll see there's like a whole side story going on that we don't know about until the end, which probably could have been helped if these characters could speak.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, for anyone that's seen the Kirby anime, the English version, what do you think of the voices in that one?
Oh man, I was actually watching that the other night because it's like on demand, like this on-demand service where you could watch it whenever you want.
Oh yeah.
And I always thought it was funny that everyone else could talk except Kirby. He could just make little noises.
Yeah, he says Poyo.
Yeah, Poyo. But DDD always talking.
I like his accent there.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, and Meta Knight is like the Mexican bandito.
Yeah, which is interesting for him.
Yeah, his voice is almost like that in Brawl too, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad DDD didn't have the same voice, though. All he does is kind of quack and stuff.
Yeah, that would have been great if he kept the voice from the cartoon.
Yeah. So here's a nice defensive power for Kirby, the old spark attack. You can use that as if you have a bunch of characters flying at you, just fire off a spark. They'll hit the energy and, they're done for.
Now, another new thing he got in this was that slide move you used a couple of times.
Oh, yeah. You couldn't do that in the other ones?
I don't think you could do it in the first one.
I honestly can't remember. I have that game somewhere. I was looking for it just before we started these commentaries, and I couldn't find it.
Then again, maybe you could have, and I just never knew that when I was a kid.
Maybe.
Be something to look at.
It's funny, going through these playthroughs now, I've actually learned a bunch of stuff in these older games that are 20 years old that I never knew. For instance, in Super Mario World, as you're flying with your cape, if you hold the jump button but then do the spin, you can actually turn yourself around in midair and fly the other way.
I did not know that.
Me neither. I just randomly happened. I'm like, I'm still flying.
Huh.
So here we have Kirby's Crane Fever minigame. This whole purpose here is to collect extra lives. A little Kirby is worth 1 life, the big one is worth 2, but of course, the bigger one is harder to get.
You kinda gotta get it dead on, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. You gotta center it perfectly before you let go of the button, then the crane will drop on its own. And if you notice when we started that game off, it showed like a little single star icon in the bottom right corner. That's to indicate the difficulty. There are 3 different difficulties, and I'll tell you, the 3-star one is brutal. Like, you hit that A button once, and it just goes flying across the screen. And when you let it go, it actually has to slow down before stopping.
Oh, wow.
So you gotta judge when to let it go to make it stop on top of something.
These Kirby games, they always start out deceptively simple, but they'll throw a curveball at you every now and then.
Ah, yeah. But a good thing too with this is continue points are very, frequent in this.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, as soon as you go through any door, if you die in that next area, you start right at that door again.
That is pretty nice of them.
And speaking of deceptively easy, this punk is killing me.
Just jumping around.
Yeah. See, sometimes you actually have to stop and watch to learn the pattern. If I stay on this side, chances are he's not going to be able to hit me.
Just throw another bomb.
Yeah, suck it up, spit it back. Any kind of boss character you fight, you can use your power on them. But if you don't have a power, chances are they have some sort of attack that creates an article that you can inhale, then shoot back at them.
Crash.
Crash Kirby, one of the most brutal powers you can have in the game, and I use it on a single Bronto Burt.
I'm back with the fire.
Which, yes, does not work underwater, so we're going to avoid that.
Now, do you actually lose the power if you use it underwater?
No, you still keep it, but
That's nice.
a downside, if you get hit while you're underwater, the power will fall out, and not only does it disappear right away, but even if you could catch it, you can't inhale underwater.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, chances are you're going to want to not get hit underwater. Although, with most games, you don't want to get hit anyway.
Yeah, true.
And you see, I wanted that tomato, but my fire wouldn't burn that block. So, a nice little way around that, just spit out the fire and inhale the block.